Hello, everybody. Welcome. Jim Phillips here. Welcome to another edition of Java with Jim. I trust you are doing well, having a wonderful week. I'm going to follow up on what I said last episode of Java with Jim. What we were talking about, or what I was talking about then, was about how we have fear. And too often we fear what we're going to lose when we're engaged in change, or when there's massive change taking place, whether we feel we're responsible for it or participating in it or not. There's this fear of losing or leaving behind something as we move into whatever that change may be. We'll also want to talk about the fear of uncertainty. And the fear of uncertainty is the other side of that. And that's the fear of what the change will look like, what it's going to feel like. How will our lives be different than they are right now in this moment, or how were they before the change took place? Well, think about what uncertainty is. It is nothing more than not knowing the outcome, not knowing what's going to happen. And if you just look at it from a neutral standpoint, there's a 50-50 chance that what's going to happen could be challenging or difficult, or it could be the most incredible, most wonderful, most extraordinary experience you've ever had. So just right off the bat, it's 50-50. But what if you started doing things in this moment that would, I'm not going to say guarantee, because there are certain things in life that we don't have control over, but certainly the scales will tip in your favor if you start doing things now in this moment that will lead to a greater potential for whatever it is you desire to have in life with this change. There's a greater potential for it to happen, greater potential for it to take place if you are taking action that would lead towards it. So I want you to think about something for a second. Everything begins as a thought, everything. And once you have a thought, the potential for the object of your thought now exists. Now that you've thought about it, there is the potential of it, whatever that is, whatever the experience is, if you want to use that as an example. As we think about it, we take on beliefs. We believe that it is possible. Whatever it is that we want to create, we have a belief now that it is possible. We then now make choices against those beliefs. We can choose to do or not to do whatever it is that we feel is in our best interest, but also would lead us to the experience we want to have. And then we take action on it. We fully engage in whatever the activities are, whatever is necessary for us to move into that new experience we want to have, that uncertainty. The more you do that, the more certain the experience is going to be. The more in alignment with what you want to have it be, it will be. And here's another part of this process. And I think this is interesting, and I think about this all the time and try to wonder and figure out why this is what we do. And that is when we are thinking about the future, something beyond this present moment. When we think about that, especially when we're in the midst of change, or if we're in the midst of a challenging situation, our thoughts tend to default to worst case scenario. Something devastating, something very difficult, something very challenging. And we get hung up on that. So every time we think about whatever could be happening from this moment forward, that's where our thoughts go. And then we feel it, we take it on physically. Well, we control that because, again, it's a 50-50 outcome based on whether it's going to be a challenging situation that comes up or whether it's going to be the most extraordinary experience you want to have. We're in control of that. We're in control of our thoughts. A suggestion would be that anytime you have change taking place, which quite frankly is every moment, but whenever you know that change is inevitable, change that is on the horizon that you know we're moving towards, but you're uncertain how that's going to appear and how it's going to affect your life and affect who you are, and you find your thoughts moving towards that worst case scenario or challenging scenario or devastating scenario, whatever it is, catch yourself. That's where awareness comes in, being aware of your thoughts. Catch yourself on it. Realize that you're just holding on to something that doesn't exist, never did exist, but yet you're creating the experience of it in this now moment because of your thoughts about it, because of your vision of it. Change that. What is it you want to have as your experience? What would be the outcome you would desire? You had this magic wand, you can wave this magic wand to create the desired outcome. What would that be? So whatever that is, write it down. And by writing these things down, it takes on a totally different energy with it. We can have these thoughts and we can put our thoughts towards whatever it is we want to have as an experience. But when we write it down, it brings us physically into that creation process. And there's just something about putting pen to paper, and I suggest pen to paper versus putting it on a computer, because again, that's you physically engaged in allowing the information to come through you, through your arm, through the pen, onto the paper. When you find yourself moving towards those negative thoughts, stop yourself, pull out the piece of paper on which you have written the outcome that you have a strong desire for, the experience you have a strong desire for. Read it, and it reinforces. Another suggestion I would have when you're doing it, as you're reading it, I will guarantee you more thoughts are going to come up, positive thoughts, supporting thoughts, beneficial thoughts. They're going to help you move even more into the experience that you want to have, or allow you to be more of the creation process of the experience you want to have. Write those down. Again, you're engaged in that process of creating whatever it is that you want to experience moving forward. I think if you do this, you will find, and you will also train yourself to not focus on those negative, devastating thoughts that could potentially happen, but on those positive, beneficial thoughts of experiences that you truly have a strong desire to experience. I love these opportunities to speak with you. I hope you found benefit in this. I look forward to the next Java with Jim with you. Of course, if you have any questions, you want to leave comments, please do so wherever you watch this video. You can send me an email directly if you'd like at jim@livinginfullexpression.com. And you can go to my website to get more information about me. You can sign up for some of my life strategy sessions. I have a lot of other articles that are on there that you might find a benefit as well. And you can go to livinginfullexpression.com to get that. Again, thank you very much for your time and attention. I appreciate you. I look forward to our next conversation. Until then, take care, be well.